Acura dares to drive beyond standard. A torque vectoring super handling all-wheel drive system, standard in the Acura RDX. Panoramic moonroof and premium 3-row seating, standard in the Acura MDX. Sound that surrounds you, an 18-speaker Bang & Olufsen premium sound system comes standard in the all-electric ZDX, the Acura RDX, ZDX, and MDX, where precision meets craftsmanship. Visit Acura.com to learn more.
On WhatsApp, no one can see or hear your personal messages. Whether it's a voice call, message, or sending a password. To WhatsApp, it's all just this. So whether you're sharing the streaming password in the family chat or trading those late-night voice messages that could basically become a podcast, your personal messages stay between you, your friends, and your family. No one else. Not even us. WhatsApp. Message privately with everyone.
Hello and welcome to I Talk to Ghosts. I'm your haunted host, Jennifer, your resident medium, and I welcome you to join me in my spirit parlor this evening. I've saved your favorite seat for you. The tea is being poured right now, and I'll light a few candles. And I am happy to report that I've reopened my calendar and I'm slowly beginning to offer medium readings again. So with that, I thought, what a perfect time to revisit the topic of what you can do to work with a medium and have the best reading you possibly can. Whether you have a session with me or with another medium, I want you to know that you should never think of this as a passive experience for yourself. Before and during a reading, you have a lot of energy and power, and this influences your reading a lot in a really lovely way. So let's discuss what you can do to get the most out of a mediumship reading. I've covered this topic once before in a previous episode, but there's so much to talk about, and it's such important information that I could easily chat about it much longer than I'm going to in this episode, but I want to cover a few points that I may have mentioned in the past, but also new ideas and new concepts for you to absorb and work with as well. Whether you're planning your first reading or you've sat with a medium before, there are a few things you should know to truly open the door to spirit and make the most of this sacred time that you're creating for yourself. Mediumship is a beautiful, delicate process, and how you show up for your reading matters just as much as who comes through for you and who your medium is who is facilitating the session for you. First off, it's a beautiful idea to set an intention before your reading. Quietly in your mind, you can ask your loved ones to be present during your session, or simply express that you're open to hearing from whoever is meant to come through. And that's the key here. What comes through is not always what we expect, but often what we most need. And sometimes it takes a lot of clarity to understand that. So stay wide open with love to whatever unfolds during your session. And if you want a certain loved one to make contact at a reading, reach out to them beforehand with your mind and your heart. Go ahead and talk to them and tell them your intentions. Again, you have that soul power to do so. This is your connection. Your departed loved one will be there for you, not your medium. It's all about you. But again, remember that the content of the reading in the end is up to spirit. Your medium can't demand as far as who comes through or why or what they say. Think of it this way. There are two human beings involved in this exchange. With spirit, in a way, it's best to think that the higher beings, spirit, is here for us and they know best. So I've mentioned it before that surrender is a word, for the most part, our culture doesn't like, but it is a very loving action to take when it comes to working with spirit and connecting with your loved ones who have passed. So again, I'll repeat, your medium can't demand who comes through or why or what they say. And a good medium is an expert on surrender and being the clearest spirit antenna possible. They aren't meant to control spirit and dictate what the content of the spirit radio is. They are the antenna. I hope that makes sense. From there, on the day of your reading, come with that open heart and that open mind. This might sound simple, but it's everything. The energy you bring to a session can help or hinder the connection. Like I said, you have a lot of power in this situation. You don't have to believe in every single thing your medium says, but come with a spirit of curiosity and respect. This allows the energy to flow more freely and helps your loved ones in spirit feel welcome. And that's a really great point to make. Have that mindset. Are you welcoming your loved ones to come close? When we have doubts or fears or skepticism, that's not very welcoming, is it? So really, ask yourself, how welcoming am I to this experience and to interacting with something unseen and not something that you encounter in your daily life? Be comfortable with yourself before going into a reading. So work out any reservations you might have about the experience, such as self-judging thoughts of feeling foolish for trying this, and be comfortable with the unknown. At the beginning of the reading, speaking for myself, I am happy to take a little time before we formally start the reading to answer any questions or to help you settle in for the experience. Please know that I come to you with so much love in my heart and so much compassion for what your experience is going to be that it's an honest joy for me to be your medium and your guide through your session. So I would ask that you just know yourself, as in don't be blindsided by your subconsciousness or your inner needs. Know them and bring them all with you when you come to meet with me. Let me know what's going on, if anything, and we can work on it together. I'm so honored to work with you. And once your reading begins, stay present. If you find yourself feeling nervous or emotional, that is okay. Just take a few breaths and try to stay centered. You might be surprised at the memories, sensations, and emotions that rise up during a reading. Let them come. Let yourself feel. And oh my goodness, it is okay to cry. I cry all the time and laugh and everything else. It's okay to feel anything that needs to be felt. Again, this is all about your comfort. A medium session is not like everyday normal life when we put restrictions and judgments on ourselves. This is a time to be fully human and open and trusting. And truly, there is a sense of vulnerability to that. And I completely recognize and respect that. If something the medium shares makes sense to you, go ahead and say so. Give honest, simple feedback like, yes, that makes sense, or I understand. To give this feedback with enthusiasm helps keep the connection flowing. Your medium is not only connecting with spirit, but they're connecting with you. And your enthusiasm and energy will light up your medium just as much as spirit. So if you're closed off or reserved, your medium is going to feel closed off too. And your medium will know how to work with that, but you're kind of hindering your session there, you know? But with that said, if something doesn't resonate right away, that is completely okay too. And a medium can't possibly, as a human being, be 100% accurate. I like to explain how I work, and the way I am given information from the spirit world. It could be a visual, It can be an auditory, a smell, or a taste, and it can be an emotion. So imagine if it's like this spiritual game of telephone or charades. Imagine you're flooded with an emotion from spirit, and you're also dealing with your own emotions and the emotion of the person you're doing the reading for. Imagine having to put words to translate what is going on for you, and you want to do that absolutely flawlessly and correct because it's important, right? It's a process. And you knowing that that process is going on is great for you to know. I think we tend to put mediums on this pedestal of, oh my goodness, they are skilled with something I don't understand. They are more than me, and I can't possibly relate to that. But your medium is a human being, and you should be able to relate that to them. And that's why I really just love to convey how I work and what you can expect from a medium reading with me. And I will never put on the persona that I am perfect and anything but a human being there for you with this skill set that I practice and devote my energy and attention to, because I pour so much love and attention into this process. So of course I want you to understand it, and I want to share every aspect of it with you. Okay, I do want to talk about a few things you shouldn't do, and I really hope that this doesn't come off as negative. There's just some things that we shouldn't do during a medium session, because sometimes we can unintentionally block our experience. First, don't give too much information up front. If your medium asks for a first name or who you're hoping to hear from, that's usually enough. I tend to open the space and see who comes in without any information at all. I love working with a blank slate, so to speak, so that my analytical brain doesn't try to take over. It's very curious to me to just open the space and see who's there, and to let you know what I'm sensing right off the bat. I do ask later on in the session if there's someone that you are hoping to hear from. Try not to go into detailed backstories. I do want you to acknowledge when someone connects for you, but you don't have to jump in to add more. If we are already talking about something specific and you want to expand a little bit or share a memory aloud, I do find that spirit will join into the conversation and offer their own sentiments, details, jokes, or spirit could even move on to a new topic altogether. So yes, you and I talking builds that energy, but we need to find a balance there. I don't want you to reveal anything new, but as we're talking and discussing things that spirit brings up and things that I'm sensing, wow, it is amazing to see how spirit just loves to hear you talk about them and to acknowledge them and feel them. And they are there to share in that with you, and your medium can feel that. Okay, a few other don'ts. Please don't try to test or trick your medium. I know it can be tempting to withhold or throw out like gotcha questions, but mediumship isn't about proving anything. It's about communication, healing, and trust. Tests can really shut the whole thing down. And if you don't trust me, how can I trust you? And tricking someone or being abrasive is just mean-spirited. No pun intended there, oh my goodness. And that energy, it just closes everything down immediately. So whoever you book a session with, book with them because you trust them and they don't have to prove anything to you. The connection and the experience you have will naturally do that, and you don't have to set up parameters in order for trust to take place. Earlier, I mentioned coming to your reading with an open mind and heart. I think as human beings, we want to authenticate the unseen with rules on how it will look like, what details will come through, and judge what is important to get as proof. Everything from what Spirit needs to say to what Spirit needs to come through in a reading first. Let me tell you, absolutely good-naturedly, that I would love to give you everything on your list. Every medium would. But please understand the medium is the channel, the antenna. Mediums don't control what music plays. They tell you what they hear. They don't get to pick the station. Mediums are translators, not all-knowing beings. Not every message will make sense immediately, and not every name or memory will come up the way you hope. Another important one, don't have anyone else in the room with you, even if they're just sitting quietly. I have said many times in the past that I don't mind if someone else is there, and that is true, but I do want to point out that the other person, their energy is present, and Spirit may choose to focus on them instead of you. Especially in a personal reading, it's best to be alone and centered. It just helps the session be focused and clear. And to add to that a little bit, your energy should be with your medium and your loved ones in spirit. If you're glancing at someone else, wondering what they're thinking and feeling, you're splitting yourself. And as I said, I've done plenty of readings with more than one person in the room. They tend to get some of the reading time, and that's okay, but in the end, maybe you would have chosen differently. And of course, it's worth mentioning not to have your TV on or pets and children running around to snag your focus away, that sort of thing. And finally, don't come to a reading with anger or being emotionally overwhelmed in general. If you're deep in grief or carrying a lot of heavy energy, it could be difficult for messages to come through. Mediumship isn't a substitute for therapy or closure, but it can be a beautiful companion to healing when the time is right. I personally don't think that Spirit needs a holding time after passing and that they're not around to communicate. I know not everyone holds that belief, but as humans on the material side of things, we do need to grieve and process and come back to center a bit before a reading could connect clearly for you. So give yourself that time. It is so important to feel what you feel, and you'll know it when it's the right time to schedule a reading with a medium. Now, I want to reassure you and circle back on all the wonderful reasons why you don't have to overthink this, and also how you can put down any worries and fears about having a reading. Your loved ones in spirit want to connect. They want to bring comfort and validation. They're always connected to you. It doesn't take a medium or a magic ritual to bring them close. You are connected right now, and you always will be, in all the ways, in all the times. Your reading will be absolutely unique to you, and to compare it to expectations or inner criticism just isn't necessary. I think as humans, it's easier to invalidate than to embrace hope. But know this, me having been a spirit medium for many years now and having offered hundreds of readings, I have the certainty and the insight to tell you that love endures. Spirit and our connections are fundamental truths, and no worry, doubt, fear, or cynicism can ever lessen that truth. Hopefully, you aren't one to doubt your existence right now, so don't doubt existence in the afterlife either. Materialism is just condensed energy, and energy exists in many, many forms. Let the experience unfold. Be open to surprise. Trust in love that exists beyond what we think we know and think we see. If you have a reading scheduled soon with me or a different medium, I hope these tips help you feel more grounded and ready to receive. And if you're just beginning to explore mediumship, welcome. You're in for something very special. I really love to share some of my readings on this podcast when possible, so you can see my work directly instead of me just talking about it. So join me on Friday for a new in-studio spirit reading with my podcast guest, and make sure to check out past Friday episodes as well. I offer free reading sessions for those who are willing to come on the show and share their reading. And if you're interested in possibly being selected, you can visit italktoghost.com. And the sign up is right there on the front page, or you can go to italktoghost.com/guest. And I almost forgot to mention, I'm terrible at self-promotion. If you would like to book a private one-on-one reading with me, you can visit italktoghost.com/readings. And as I said before, my calendar is a little more limited than usual right now, but I'll open up more appointments soon. Let me know if you have any questions about the medium process. I love talking about mediumship as much as I love offering sessions and opening the space for it. And again, this isn't about expressing my rules to a session. It's about empowering you and helping you understand the process and how important you are to the session, and giving you the opportunity to get the absolute most wonderful reading you possibly can have. So thank you for joining me tonight to have this discussion. Again, reach out anytime with your questions. You can email me at speaknow@italktoghost.com, or leave a comment where you can, and we'll keep the discussion going in the community. And remember, we're always connected through love. So let love flow through you, and you will experience absolute magic. Take care.
Hey everyone, I'm Erica.
And I'm Elizabeth.
We're sisters, wine lovers, and your hosts for the podcast Spirits Uncorked.
In Season 2, we're leaving the haunted waters of Lake Lanier in Georgia and diving into all new spooky stuff. Shadow people?
I've seen them.
Haunted military bases?
I've served on one.
Local restaurants with ghostly reputations?
I work at one.
Okay, if something spooky doesn't happen to you, I worry about you.
The paranormal is my normal.
Plus, we'll sip and chat with horror authors, fascinating guests, and test out some superstitions along the way.
Knock on wood.
So uncork a bottle and pour a glass of the paranormal with us on Season 2 of Spirits Uncorked.
Get ready for sips, scares, and sisterly sarcasm.
Fear Daily is a podcast that takes you into the shadows of the past, unearthing the 1990s most terrifying tales of monsters, madness, and life after death. Discovered on a forgotten bulletin board server somewhere in Pennsylvania's Rust Belt, these stories are an archive of humanity's strangest encounters with the unknown, as told by the people who experienced them. Written by Brennan Storr, creator of the Ghost Story Guys, and hosted by Brandon Scheck-Snyder of Southern Gothic, Fear Daily is your window into the dark corners of our world. Follow Fear Daily today on your favorite podcatcher to receive new episodes Monday through Friday, each and every week.